I'm Joan Blackman. I am a musician, violinist, and I played for many years in the Vancouver Symphony in leadership positions. And then in 2007, I became the artistic director of a small local chamber music series. And that was a side gig at the time, but over the years has become my main gig. I no longer play in the symphony. I'm just doing this chamber music series, and it's grown immensely. Before I came into Lifehack Tribe, I was dealing with the pandemic, and we had to get all our concerts online, and we didn't have a professional crew doing things. So it was the board helping me, my husband helping me. He was paid as a kind of a manager, and he had some experience in that area. But we had to up our game so much in the pandemic, and it was a huge amount of work. When we went back to live concerts, of course, there was a lot of building up, and I was really scattered. I didn't know, I mean, I had put all my energy into getting things working online, and my husband was tired. I felt scattered, and everything was chaotic. I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing. I felt like I wasn't keeping my playing up, which that's important to me. And I would say my stress and anxiety level was 9 out of 10. So we were both burnt out. My husband and I were not getting along so well. And I heard the pitch on social media, and it appealed to me. But I wasn't sure it would fit for a musician. I thought, oh, it's all about people that work on their computers. But then I knew that I had learned how to work remotely. So I thought, give it a try. My initial goals were to get more, I just thought in general, get more organized. I really enjoyed the weekly pre-planning, and I started to see the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to get my practice in order. I wanted to organize my home life. I wanted to be able to get things done with Veta more efficiently. I thought that it meant doing more, but I started to learn it maybe meant doing less but better. Looking at what I want with a different perspective. Before, I just would listen to my thoughts and say, oh, I want to do that, or I want to do that. And now I kind of pin myself down. Oh, no, this is the thing I want. And if I hear those thoughts saying, I want to do that and that and that and that, I say, well, right now we're doing this thing. And it's really helped me to focus my activities in such a way that they're going in the same direction. I remember Demir saying something about you're in a boat and the boat's capsizing, and you want to first you want to right the boat, then you want to set the direction, you want to go with the wind. There's all these things, all these factors, and so I think I know what I want more, and I'm getting it. Well, FocusMate, first of all, was very helpful, especially at the beginning. And of course, I took the Catalyst training with you, Amy, and that was amazing. And I think I figured out the leverage ladder. I'm still a beginner, but just to know what comes next, and to have that big goal in mind, but to know the steps and to understand that 1% better every day is, in the long run, way better than having a great day and then a terrible day. Well, I've had some really solid wins that have changed my life. So my life feels a lot less chaotic, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't have stresses, but I've achieved a good workflow. In Veta, what's happened is that after a trial and error, we found a really good professional manager, and that means that there's a workflow, and I'm doing more of the artistic director jobs and less of the administration. That is just something that I'm really not interested in doing. So that's really good. And I also got 2 raises in 2 years and 2 seasons. So I'm making 2.5 times what I was at the beginning. So I am now considered by the board to be a professional artistic director too. Instead of before, it was a labor of love, and the quality was way higher than what I was being compensated for. So I feel that is a huge difference, and it means that I can think ahead. It means that I can think about what do I want to do with that, and it means what do I want to do with my life. And what's happened in our life is we get along way better. My husband doesn't have to think about my stuff with Detta, and he's doing his thing, and we've decided to move to a beautiful house on the water in BC. And I will still be able to do my job remotely. He will be as happy as a clam, and it's a beautiful place. I love it too. So I feel like it was a dream that came true that I didn't even know I had before. It was quite recently that I figured out something. So I think in terms of my practicing and my career as a violinist, I've always thought, more is better, has to be perfect. You're always working to make things better, and every concert is 100% important. And so that's it's a big responsibility, and it feels like you're always weighed down by that. And I just started to take this whole idea of the small bricks, the little things that you do that make things better, are actually in the long run do more. And so I don't have to practice as much as I used to. I can be smarter, and I can say, you know what, that one I can just rely on my instincts. I don't need to practice that. And this one, yes, I'm going to focus on that because it will really keep my fingers in shape. So it's just this whole idea of not following blindly what the culture has taught classical musicians, which is you have to practice like crazy, everybody else is better than you, and you're never going to get it, and you never feel good about yourself. And I always transcended that in a concert because I knew that what I was giving was something amazing. But now in my practice and in my work at the computer, I can say, that's good enough. I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, that's big for me. Anybody who is looking at this video is probably a type A and is probably doing way more than they think, and is probably thinking that they're not nearly as competent as they really are if they just applied some of these life hack tools. I have had experience with Amir and with Amy and a little bit with Sarah Sked. Everyone is very different, but all the coaches at Lifehack are very direct and tell it like it is. I really like that. When I took the Catalyst training with Amy, there at one point I was blabbing away about all my problems and what I wanted, but I was probably had a mindset that I couldn't do it. And Amy just said, well, why don't you just do it? And I was like, oh, I guess that's right. I just have to get to it and do it. Demir, I would ask him questions at the beginning when I was in Tribe, and I was always thinking I was making a fool of myself. And he would answer the questions in a very general way, and there would be these little gems coming out. Usually when I listened to other people asking questions, I got more out of it just because I had that perspective. I didn't have the perspective yet to listen to what he said to me, not as the old me, but as the new me with the perspective. If you're just starting this journey, make sure you follow the roadmap and then really lean in, really ask questions and use the resources. It's such a good value. And there are so many resources, and also the other tribe members can help. Often on the Facebook group, there's people asking questions and other tribe members just answer. So I think the only limit is how much you use it. I did take the boot camp, and at one point, Larry was really wanting out of being the manager, and it was really affecting our relationship. I was trying to onboard a new person, and I was giving him all this space and not talking to him about it. I felt like I had a separate world, and then there was the world with him. And I was telling Demir about it, and I was saying, "Oh, you know, he knows some of the stuff. I can't on board. I don't know how to do it. He knows it." And he said, "Well, why don't you just ask him to help for you?" And I had never thought of that, because I was always thinking my professional life and I shouldn't bother him, because he had said he didn't want to. So I asked him, I said, "Larry, would you help me onboard the new manager for my sake, for me as your wife?" And he said, "Of course." And because he had been so resistant before, and I think I was treating him like a manager, and I was, I wasn't treating him like my husband. And that changed everything. Yeah, after that, it changed how I think I respect him in a totally different way now. I don't know, it's completely different. And now we're moving to this place and setting up a new life together. The life we've had here for the last 5 years has been, he came here with me because I had my job here, and he's retired, and he was making a life out of it. But now we're going to a place where we're both going to be together in our personal life, and enjoy beautiful nature and the ocean and our lifestyle. There's a piece with bringing on the manager, that I'm not sure anybody knows about, except maybe Demir, is when I first joined Lifehack Tribe, I was trying to get in a new manager, and it didn't work. And that's because I didn't have the skills that Lifehack has taught me. And also, I didn't know even how to choose a person properly. So that's why I took the Catalyst program with Amy. And that the second time that I hired somebody, I was much more careful, and I knew about the online sharing files. I knew more about how to work remotely with a team through Asana. Before, we had used Trello, and so I upped my game that way. And I'm not going to say it was easy, but I would not have been able to onboard this manager without the tools that I had from Lifehack. Because I'm just a musician. I'm not an administrator. I don't know those things, except I found out that it's not, I do. Now I do. Really appreciate Carrie in the background with the Asana training and everything. She seems like a really, we don't get to know her that well, but I know she's deeply ingrained in the method, and I've enjoyed the Asana training as well. One thing I want to say is I learned to celebrate my own successes. And as a perfectionist type of person, that's big, because we don't often look back and say, "Oh, look what I did." It seems like it's somehow selfish or something, but it really helps you to do the next good thing.